Hey there, everyone. This is a lesson on prepositions. For some of you, this may be review. For others of you, this is something a grammar concept you never really mastered. But wherever you fall in that spectrum, we're going to talk about prepositions today. So here's a tree, and I want you to imagine that there's a squirrel. This is a squirrel. Okay, this is Brad, the squirrel. And he very much likes Susie, squirrel. So he's on the other side of the tree, though. He is very much amorously infatuated with Susie, would like to go over and get with her and kind of hang out with her and maybe give her a kiss. But he's got this tree in the way. So what are the ways by which Brad can get over to Susie Squirrel? Well, if you think about it, he can go over because he's a flying squirrel. Can go over. He can burrow under. I mean, he's pretty motivated, so he can dig a hole under, past the roots and get to the other side. Right now, he is next to the tree, and Susie she is beside the tree. He's a supersonic Megatronic squirrel, and he can go, because he's so motivated, he can go through the tree. So these words that are here, over and next to and beside and through, these are all called prepositions. Now, the preposition is the word that starts what is called the prepositional phrase. So a prepositional phrase consists of the preposition and what's called the object of the preposition. So this right here is the preposition, and then the answer to the question what after the preposition down the what is what's called the object of the preposition. So if I said, can you walk up the hill? Up the hill would be the prepositional phrase. Okay. So here is why this is important. You all are going to be taking the ACT sometime this year, and it's testing a variety of grammar, mechanics, usage skills. So take a look at this sentence that is actually from a released ACT. I use this as an example all the time. It says, the paneling on the walls blank blue. So what you need to do with this one in order to determine what verb goes there, this is actually testing what's called subject-verb agreement. What you have to do is take out the prepositional phrase. So if you know that on the walls does not count as part of the subject, by taking this out, you can know now with better certainty what verb goes there, because you would say the paneling was blue. But because this word right here, because this word, which is right next to the verb, has an S on it, the walls, the ACT would like to trick you and make you think that the verb were would go with it, because this is plural and this is plural. So by making that word be right next to the verb, it makes it tricky. So this is one of the many reasons why we need to make sure that we go over prepositions. So let's take a look at the assignment. Let me give you first a list. Actually, it's on the other one. Okay. So here's a list of common prepositions. It's not all of them, but it's pretty much most of them. This is an alphabetical listing, and I've even attached in Google Classroom just a list for you. It's not this one, but it's similar. So these are words that start prepositional phrases. So let's take a look at your homework or the work that you'll be doing. It's asking you to underline the preposition and highlight the object of the preposition. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do, let's say, the first 5 or 6 with you so that you can see it and then work your way through it. So the puppies wandered around the fenced yard. So if you look at the list, we've got around right there. Around. So that is the preposition. So let's go back up here. So around is the preposition. So we'll underline it. And then around what? Yard. So this is the object of the preposition. Now what I like to do is I like to put the whole phrase in parentheses. So I'm going to ask you to do that on this as well. So put entire phrase in parentheses. So without a care in the world, Alexi is relaxing, waiting for the game to begin. All right, so if you consult the list, you will see that without is a preposition. Without what? Care. So care is the object of the preposition. But this is what we have. We have here a pair of back-to-back ones because in is also a preposition. In what? The world. So without a care and in the world. Now, there are more further on in the sentence. If you look at for what? Game. So put that in there. Now, here's a tricky thing. I don't know if you've had Spanish yet, but to plus the verb is what's called the infinitive. So even though if you consult the list, so if you see on the list here, you're going to see to. It's right here. And it is a preposition. However, it is also the beginning of an infinitive. So here's how you do this. If the word after the to is a verb, then it's not being used as a prepositional phrase. Here's an example of how to would be a prepositional phrase. So if I said I'm going to go to the store, then to is a preposition. Store is an object of a preposition. So this would in fact be a prepositional phrase. But if I said I'm going to go to the store to eat, to, in this case, is not starting a prepositional phrase because eat is a verb. That's just an infinitive. So you have to be careful. To is the only preposition that pulls double duty like that. So just be aware whenever you see to, you need to find out if after it is a verb or a noun because objects of the preposition are always a noun. So let's do a few more. Dean thinks that he is smarter than everyone in the class. So if you consult the list, you would see that in is a preposition. In what? Class. And then, like I said, I like you to put them in parentheses. And then we have, will you put these cookies on the tray? On is a preposition. On what tray? That's the prepositional phrase. And we'll do one more. So his doctor read through his chart and looked down his throat. So through is a preposition. Through what? The chart. And looked down his throat. Down. Down what? Throat. There we go. Now, there's no number or limit to how many prepositional phrases you can have in a sentence. You can have none, 1, 2, 5, 6, everything in between. You can have them back to back, such as the case of this. I've seen sentences that have 2, 3, 4 prepositional phrases back to back. So there's no rule or limit to how many can be in a sentence. All right, so hopefully this makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me or show up in a Google Meet, and I'd be happy to clarify.